Hi everyone, in this video we will be studying transforming piecewise functions. A transformation is a change in position, size or shape of a figure. If we move around the coordinate plane, what we are doing is producing a transformation. So we can move a graph around and describe that movement. Or in the questions, that movement is described and you will be asked to graph or write the new function after the given transformation. So first of all, we should remember transformation rules. You studied these rules in grade 10. I'm just going to go over them just to jog your memory. We have translation and reflection. So what we have two types of translations, vertical and horizontal, and we have two types of reflection that you learned so far. So first, vertical translation. If a number is added, if you are moving d units up, then the transformed version of the function will be f of x plus d. If f of x is the original function, by moving the original function d units up, we will just add d to the function. If you move d units down, if you move this f of x function d units down, what you are doing is f of x minus d. The change is outside. After you write the original function, you add to go up, you subtract to go down. So if you want to move the points, you also move the y value d units up to go up and d units down, subtract d from y. So your x won't change because the change is vertical, only the y values will change in the points. What about horizontal translation? If you want to move your function c units to the left, in this case, you are going to move c units to the left. C units to the left means you subtract c from the x value. So your y will not change in the point. When you move the point, y won't change. It's horizontal translation. Only x will be affected. To write the rule for the function, it is going to be the opposite. Instead of subtracting in the rule, you are adding. So you are writing it as f of x plus c, and the change is inside. The x will be affected, not the y. So you are going to write this change inside the bracket, x plus c. On the other hand, to go to the right means you are adding the c value to the x value. Y will remain same to move a point. But to write the rule for the function, it is the opposite. We have to write x minus c. Going right means x minus c inside the bracket. And you also studied reflection last year. Reflection is a transformation that flips a figure or a graph across a line of reflection. So if the reflection is around the x-axis, you just take the opposite of the function. Just write minus in front of the function. Taking the opposite of function will give you the reflection around x-axis. So by the points, since you are just changing the sign of the function, the change is outside, the y will be affected, not x. On the other hand, reflection around y means the change is inside, you change the sign of x. So when you change the sign of x, the change is inside, so it becomes f of minus x. And in the point, the sign of x will be changed, y will remain same. So those are the rules that you need to remember. If you don't, you need to study and learn them. So let's solve some questions. First question, transforming a piecewise function. Write the rule for g of x when f of x is given as a piecewise function. A horizontal translation, 4 units right. So you should remember what this means. What does translation 4 units right mean? If you want to go 4 units to the right, let's check the rule. You are going right. C units to the right means in the rule, it's going to be f of x minus c. So what you're going to do is writing this as f of x minus 4. This is the given function f of x. You are going to write f of x minus 4. So your g of x, the new function, is f of x minus 4. So all you have to do is, inside this function, you are going to replace every x value with x minus 4. Every x, not only just this part, but also this interval part, the x values will be changed. Let's take a look at this note. This is very important. Horizontal translations change both the rules and the intervals of piecewise functions. Vertical translations change only the rules. By rules, we mean this function part, the range part. By interval, we mean this if after if part, x part. So for horizontal translations or horizontal stretch or compress, the both of the parts are affected, but when the translation or compression stretch are about the vertical, it just affects the result, the output. Let's replace every x in the function by x minus 4. So x minus 4 plus 3 if x becomes x minus 4 great. Let me change the color. X minus 4 is greater than 0. And the second interval, we have 2 multiplied by, open the bracket, x is not alone anymore, x is x minus 4. So write x minus 4 inside the parentheses. This is very important. Plus 3 if x, which becomes x minus 4, x minus 4 less than or equal to 0. So that's gonna be our new function, g of x. So our g of x after simplification becomes x minus 4 plus 3 is x minus 1 if, or you can use comma, bring negative 4 to the other side, it makes x is greater than 4. The second part, the second case, distribute 2 to the bracket, 2 by x, 2x, 2 by negative 4, negative 8 plus 3, negative 5. If, or comma, bring negative 4 over, x is less than or equal to 4. So that's going to be our new function. You may be asked to graph the new function. You can graph there are two ways of graphing the new function. You can either graph this g of x right away by using the methods that we studied in the previous lesson, making a table, plotting the points, and connecting the points and stuff. Or you can graph the first given original function and move every point in the original function 4 units to the right. So f is the original function. You can graph this by points, table of values, and plotting the points, and move every point 4 units to the right to get the new function. So this is the translation of piecewise functions. So let's take a look at some more examples involving not only transformation but also compress and stretch. So 1 over 4 of f of x. So write the new function when f of x is given as this piecewise function. So question 8. Let me solve them one by one. G of x is gonna be g of x is equal to, so here the change is vertical here. It is not translation, but there is compress or stretch here. So the change is vertical because the number is not multiplied by x. Number is multiplied by f of x. So that's about vertical change. When we have a vertical change, we don't multiply both input and output by the given number in front, we just have to multiply this by the result, the function, the output part. So multiply 1 over 4 by the result, x squared, if x is less than 1. So you don't touch the interval part when the change is vertical. The second part, you multiply 1 over 4 by the output for x if x is greater than or equal to 1. So simplify this. 1 over 4 times x squared, 1 over 4x squared, when x is less than 1. Simplify this. 1 over 4 and 4 will simplify. X if x is greater than or equal to 1. So that's going to be our new function for the first question. What about the second question? We also have 1 over 4, but this time 1 over 4 is multiplied by x. So there's a difference between first and second question. So in the first question, the result only is affected, but in the second question, both results and input and output both will be affected. So as we studied in the previous note here, when the change is horizontal, both interval part and the output part, the rule part will be affected, but the change is vertical, then interval will not be affected. So multiply every x in the function by 1 over 4 because the change is horizontal. So it's going to give you h of x equals, so x becomes x over 4, right? X over 4, and there is square here. So change your x with x over 4. That's the thing we need to do. If x becomes x over 4 is less than 1. This is the first part. Second part, 4 multiplied by x, which is x over 4. If x, which is x over 4, is greater than or equal to 1. Let's simplify this. So x over 4 squared becomes x squared over 16. If let's simplify this part to isolate x. Let's get x on the left. Do cross product. X is less than 4 by 1, 4. The second part, 4 and 4 will simplify each other. You're left with x, comma, if cross product x is greater than or equal to 4. See, the results are totally different. The new functions are totally different. In the first, we multiply the output by 1 over 4 only. In the second, we multiply both input and output by 1 over 4. Actually, not just output by 1 over 4. Every x in the function is multiplied by 1 over 4. So it gives you a totally different result. Finally, question 10 is asking about vertical translation. So this time it is translation 3 units down. So when you move 3 units down, let's remember the rule. We are going d units down. Then the rule will be f of x minus d. So x won't be affected, only the output is affected. So you just have to subtract 3 from the result. So p of x equals x squared. If x is less than 1, here you have 4x. If x is greater than or equal to 1, all you have to do is subtract 3 from the function. So that's my answer. X squared minus 3 when x is less than 1, and 4x minus 3 when x is greater than or equal to 1. So this is the way of transforming piecewise functions. What if the question is a multiple choice, not a free response question? Like in this ministry exam question, we are given a piecewise function. We are asked to translate this by using this rule, f of x plus 1. So what does f of x plus 1 mean? See, the plus 1 is inside the bracket, changes inside, meaning that's horizontal translation. So what kind of horizontal translation we have? So there's plus 1, means we need to move 1 unit to the left. So every point in this given graph will be moved 1 unit to the left. This point will be shifted 1 unit to the left here. This point will be shifted here. This point will be 1 unit left here. This will be here. Connect them. This and move up and down. So this red graph will be my answer, which is C. Option C is true.